What's up, everybody? Hey, this is Kane. Another episode of Hashtag Kane Said. Yo, tonight gonna be a great episode. We got some committed parents in here, and they're gonna help you guys to make sure you're committed. State your name and who you with, baby.
I'm Kelly Doughman. My son is Cooper Doughman. He is a graduate from last year at Troop High and is now a freshman at Chattahoochee Valley in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Hello, Trina Jones. I have a son, Emory Jones, currently quarterbacking at the University of Florida, played high school at Heard County High School.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Ronda Bliss. My son is Ryan Bliss. He is the shortstop at Auburn University, and this is his second year.
Y'all hear all of that. Hey, listen, before I start, I got to get a shout out to the sponsor. Shout out to the sponsor, Austin Bradfield, Remax. Listen, y'all looking for a house? Man, holler at Austin, man. Stop playing. Like ASAP, go holler at him. Shouts out to him. First of all, y'all, I thank you for being here.
Hey, we got to be here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
So listen, y'all, tonight, like I said, man, we're just going to have fun with this thing. Man, we're here just to inform you guys, to find out, you know, because listen, it's a lot of people out here, right, who has kids, who has, who trying to get to the next level. And parents got to understand that there's a big commitment to play on the next level, right? Am I right about that?
Yes.
I'm right about that. So, Kel, I'm going to start with you. You know what I mean? Man, just give me some of your commitment, you know what I mean, for Cooper. Like I said, now he's playing ball, you know, in college. You know what I mean? But talk about that process.
It's a long one. We started playing ball when we were 5. We started Little League and playing rec ball. We also did travel ball, which is,
Okay.
you know, pretty much playing all summer long when we were 5. And of course, we didn't know much back then. Cooper was probably with all his friends picking weeds in the grass, having a great time. But
Part
just,
of
you
it.
know, fellowshipping. We had a great time with the parents. Progressing on all the way through high school, playing on, you know, basically 3 different teams pretty much almost year round.
Okay.
You know, playing a lot of weekends out of town. After he was probably 8 years old, we never really played around town for travel ball. So
I
it
got
was a
you.
lot of weekends in hotels, a lot of traveling back and forth, a lot of time running the roads to get him to be able to play at the next level.
I like that. And if you remember, we're going to talk about this hotel stuff. I don't think y'all know about the hotel grind. Trina, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
So our level of commitment, Emory started playing ball at 4. Wasn't just one sport. He started, we tried several different things. He was exposed to football, track, baseball. He was even skateboarding. So he enjoyed skateboarding. He would have been on the hockey team had the rec center had enough players to sign up. So never would I have thought we would be here today. I did realize that after a few years into him participating and getting a feel for what he wanted to do.
Okay.
But that commitment, Emory gave up his weekends. I gave up practically my life for 14 years. That's the level of commitment.
I like, and y'all, I'm telling you, we finna dig into that now. 14 years commitment. Rhonda, talk to me.
Ryan has played since he was 3. We moved to Georgia when he was 4th grade. He's been playing baseball ever since. He tried basketball, but that kind of interfered with the commitment of baseball and what it would take to be successful or to be good at what he loved doing. Graduated from Troop, been playing travel ball since we were 12. We've driven back and forth to Atlanta, playing at the East Cobb locations. We played with East Cobb Astros, the Bombers, and the East Cobb Yankees.
Okay.
That's back and forth every week. Once you get 16, everyone that plays baseball knows that you play every day and every weekend. So the commitment to give up what you have to do in order to do what he needs to do and what he loves doing, that's the commitment.
That's commitment.
Right.
I like that. So Trina, let me ask you this. I heard you say earlier that, you know, so tell me at what age did you say, oh my gosh, now we gotta lock in? As far as, you know what I'm saying, doing what you gotta do as a parent to make sure that he is, you know what I'm saying, ready for that next level, wherever that, because you remember he's in high school, so you don't know what the next level is, right? You know what I mean? So what age did you say, yo man, I gotta put all my chips in to make sure he's prepared?
Right. So I think about age. Well, we were going through the trials of trying to figure out what he really loved, and it took a lot of observation on my part. It took a lot of exposing him to the different sports. He had a love for basketball. He had a love for football. But I saw I saw the IQ in basketball.
Mhm.
And so when you see that, then we took that to another level of private training,
Okay.
some individual training.
Okay.
And so at 14, he started training with the quarterback coach out of Atlanta, Quincy Avery.
Shouts out to Quincy.
And from there, I realized that Quincy recognized something in him and shared that with me. And from that point on, I knew that the hours that we spent even touring colleges, I mean, we took a spring break, took 3 days and visited 4 schools, driving in the car, just Emory and I. And so I realized at 14 and when he got his first offer at 14, I knew then that it was showtime. It was commitment at that point. It's too late to turn back.
Trina, I'm gonna say something about this, man. I remember it was one spring break. I remember it, man. You and I was talking on the phone. I think Emory went on spring break. Now you talking about commitment, and watch this commitment. He went on spring break. If I'm not mistaken, Trina, then you go pick him up, bring him back for the ACT or SAT.
Yes.
And tell him, and listen
Yes.
now, that's commitment. Tell him about that.
So Emory went to, of course, all the kids is ready to head to Panama City Beach for
Right.
Spring break. So Emory wanted to go, but we had a deal. The deal was you're scheduled for the SAT. So the SAT was scheduled in the middle of, in fact, it was towards the weekend. And so that morning I got up, I headed to Panama City, picked Emory up, brought him back so that he could take his SAT.
Yo, like honestly, how many parents would do that? Like that it takes a lot. Cause normally we'd be like, he'll figure it out, he'll get it next time. But if you lock in, I mean, salute you as a mom on that. That's something. So Kevin, let me ask you this. You know, I know through Cooper's career, man, I know he had an injury. Now tell me from a parent standpoint, what did that do for you psychologically? I mean, because I know it probably affected you some.
It was hard, you know, to go one day and he played on 3 teams, and then to pretty much couldn't sit down or couldn't sit without pain. We went through about almost 10 months of trying to figure it out, doing the least restrictive or the least invasive procedures for his back, and ended up he had ruptured a disc and ended up having 2 back surgeries. He spent about half of his 8th grade year in a wheelchair.
Wow.
And so, but to see the comeback after that, you know, it was hard. As a family, it was a struggle. You know, we love being with our kids. We love, I mean, you know, my daughter as well, she does travels, cheerleading and volleyball now. And so we enjoy being with our kids. And it was hard for us. It was hard to see Cooper in pain. It was hard to see the surgeries. It was hard for the recovery. But, you know, we knew that God had a plan. We knew that he was going to make it. And, you know, his mindset was he was ready to go. He wanted to be back on that field, do whatever it takes. And of course, from our standpoint, whatever we could do to get him there was what we were going to do.
So, okay, no, go ahead.
And so, Kelly, I can relate to that. Emory had an injury in high school, broke his leg. And to watch him for 8 weeks of no activity, when you watched him from 4 years old until 16, doing what he loved, and then you see him on bed rest for 8 weeks, was tough mentally for him, and you fear that the kids are gonna, you fear they're gonna lose it, and you fear, yeah. So I can relate to that.
It's hard, and for any child to be injured, you know, for a parent not to be able to fix it, it's hard, you know. So
okay, so what did y'all do to keep him motivated? Because again, you know, kids are kids. Now, kids be like, probably say to myself, man, I really don't want to do this because I'm going through the injury. But what did y'all do?
Well, honestly, to begin with, I think once after his surgeries and he was released, he wanted to play again.
Wow.
You know, he was so motivated because I think that he was also at the age where he realized how much he had loved the sport and that he needed to do a lot of work to get back to the level he was prior to his surgeries. And so that meant a lot of early mornings. It meant my husband actually would take him to Kane at 5:45 in the morning when he wasn't able to drive at 5:45 in the morning, 3 days a week, I think it was, until Cooper was able to actually drive. And then he would get up on his own and come. And then he and Ryan actually would come and work out together. There was a lot, you know, physical therapy and just a lot of, you know, things. But Cooper was motivated because in the end, he wanted to get on the field. He wanted to play high school ball at Troop. His dad was a catcher at Troop, my brother-in-law, his cousins. He just wanted to fall in the line of the Doughmans who had been at Troop.
I got you. And listen, I don't think y'all heard that. She said that he was coming at 5:30 in the morning. Listen, now he wasn't able to drive, so that means a parent had to get up. Now 5:30 means before school, right? And before work. You know what I mean? And I remember, man, Joey bringing him in my gym, and sometimes Joey would go outside. I said, he in the truck sleep. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because again, but for him to get up and to put all on the line for your son, like that's major. That's major on that. So Ronda, man, shoot, you and I were talking about one time about, you know what I'm saying, the sacrifices a parent has to take, and you exposed something, you know, last time we were talking about, you know, what you had to stop doing in order for your son, you know what I mean, to pursue what he's pursuing. You want to share that with the people?
Yes. The sacrifice that I've had to make is Ryan traveling back and forth to Atlanta during the week just to play ball, and we were going to all the different showcases in Florida. And if you are in a position and you can, which is what my husband allowed me to do and gave me that opportunity, which is to quit my job so that I can focus on Ryan, what he had to do. You only get that chance or that opportunity one time.
Right.
And there was no, I can do this later or whatever. No, I'm gonna do this now, and I can always think about my career later if I've got a breadwinner that is taking care of the household, which is my husband Isaiah, and I hope you get well.
Shouts out to Isaiah.
He's really sick, but he would have been here doing his talking for us, but I'm gonna hold it down.
Right.
Yes, I was back and forth with Ryan, I guess it's 11th grade year at Troop, for about 2 years, and that commitment of going back and forth, the hotels that if you don't want to come back to LaGrange, you're having to stay in Atlanta. And I thank my friend Laura Warner, who allowed Ryan to stay at her house during the weekends or whenever he wanted to with Devin when we didn't want, or he didn't want to come back to LaGrange. Because when I say play every day at that level, he played every day.
Wow.
And Emory and Ryan played basketball at the rec center together when we first moved here.
Okay.
Yeah, we're on the same
competitors
team.
even at that
Yes,
time.
and we won the championship back then too. So
Wow.
yes.
Wow.
So the commitment is.
It's serious. It's serious and it's deep. So Trina, earlier, man, you was talking about a village. You know what I mean? Like I talk more about, you know, what's a village and how important a village is to a, you know, the development of an athlete.
Right, so we always, I think some of us tend to look at the village like with kids through school, just getting them through high school. But when a kid is as involved as our kids have been, and the level of commitment and the level of activity that they've been involved in, my village is huge. I have a strong support system. My village is still with me now because everybody's situation is different. My journey is a little bit different. The way I got to this point, the way Emory has gotten here has been very different. But it has taken a village for him to do that. And it's just people just wrapping, people are there, several people are there for different reasons, but it's just everybody wrapping their support around you, whether it's, hey, can you pick him up today from here, or hey, we got this long trip, can you do this, can you do that? And so I have a very strong support system, and I think all of my support system, they know exactly who they are.
Right. Shouts out to the support system,
Yes, and I want to piggyback off of that, meaning when it was time to go to Omaha, we won on that Monday, that Monday evening, and that Tuesday we were making preparations and reservations to get to Omaha for that Thursday. Shouts out to you. You know who you are. We appreciate everything that you've done, and thank you.
That's big. That's
big. One thing I want to add too, and I don't know if there's always a lot of challenges with when kids are involved in multiple sports and kids are being recruited at a certain level, and when it kind of interferes at the high school, when kids playing high school ball, there's camps, and we all know that every weekend our kids were probably somewhere in a camp. But I just think the program, the programs that the kids play for, the high school programs are very important. I think they support when you get have a program like that actually supports what your kid is doing as well, that definitely means a lot when they're not roadblocks in that area as well. So that was also definitely helpful during this process.
And in the end, the goal is that our kids are all going to college and they're playing sports in college, and so it's a wonderful thing to have the high school that we're shining great examples of the high schools, and the whole support system of athletics as well as the great teachers that supported our kids the whole way through, not just the high school, but elementary on up. And so we've been very blessed with great extra, support system, and the whole village extends from since they've started school too.
Wow. So Kelly mentioned that, as far as you being an educator, talk to me about, the academic. I'm trying to chime in on that too. As far as, making sure that Cooper was ready academically.
Mama don't play.
Mama don't play, baby. Mama don't play.
Daddy does the ball. Mama does the mean stuff about school.
Nah, normally it is, but
don't
yeah.
let it get when we get the notification on my Infinite Campus. He'll tell you in a minute. I'm always like, stay on green and make 100 like you're still 5. I tell my kids, but the expectations are where your job is to go to school. Your job is to do the best you can in your classes. If you're not succeeding at this job, then you're gonna get a real job.
Right.
And all the things that come along with it. Now we put high expectations on our kids, and so we expect them to work hard for what they get. I feel like that we do. My husband and I both work hard, and I don't mind doing things for our kids, such as staying in the hotel rooms and doing all these things, because it is expensive to play these sports and to do all the travel. But it's worth it whenever they and they realize that they've got to give too, and that means having to study some in the car. It means that they've got to make sure if they need to go to an extra tutoring to make sure that they're in the test if they missed it at a workout because they were gone.
Right.
It's important that this you can't go and play at the next level if you don't have a good GPA. They're not going to offer you scholarships if you're not a total package. There's so many athletes out there nowadays. You've got to be able to do more than just go and hit a ball or throw a ball. You've got to be able to read and do math and be an all-around student and athlete.
Wow. Look, Cooper said you don't play.
Yeah,
Cooper, what's up, big dog? Cooper checked out. Cooper said she does not play. I like that. So Trina, in terms of academic, man, I know Emory, he graduated early, correct?
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, tell me about that. Was there a lot of pressure from a mom standpoint? You know what I mean? Time when you're in your bedroom by yourself. You know what I mean? I know you're praying like, Lord, can we pull this off?
Yes.
You got to pull this off.
Yes, it was a lot of pressure, and that's for me. Holding a couple jobs at the same time, coming in, trying to hold him accountable. A lot of times I slipped, I will admit that, checking the Infinite Campus, just making sure that, he's where he needs to be. It was a lot. It was stressful, I will admit it. But I think for Emory and for what really shed light is when you have coaches on the other end that says exactly to you what I've been saying, and then when you really realize, okay, this is a chance that I can mess this up or I can get it together. And so when he got on the track to graduate early, he had to pack up his load. Because he may have been coasting initially, but somewhere down the line, talking to coaches and realizing if there's a school that he really wanted to go to that academically it didn't match up, then you miss out. So Kelly's very, very right about, just making sure that your grades line up with your talent and everything lines up. And your attitude is key as well.
Right.
And I just say, another thing I think that sometimes parents should find what's best for their kids to do. It may not be sports, it may be something, a different avenue, but I think our kids, being in education, I think our kids will run us if we don't run them. And so it was just a way to also, it kept them busy, it kept them out of any kind of trouble. We just tried to do, and it kept us honestly too, and it's together family time, because guess what? We're not anywhere else but with our kids. So we are at the ballpark, or we are, wherever our kids are. So I feel like it's also another level of being with your family and trying to do things together too.
Right. So Martin, can you read that? Martin, what's up, baby? What do you say? Yeah, things that they pay a lot of every Friday, and they invest in their child in front end and turn it back in. But that really that's true. You know what I mean? Because I'm from the standpoint of, y'all are doing this for the investment, and the investment is for them to get to college. You know what I'm saying? That's the ultimate goal. Anything after that, it's a bonus.
That's
right.
That's right.
Right. You know what I mean? But the reason why, so I want to talk about, and everybody can chime in on this one. You know what I'm saying? Financially, it's a major commitment. You know what I mean? Because nothing is free. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Because all you guys came through clockwork, you know what I'm saying? And getting other training, and you like to see going to hotels, and now that, your kids are in college, it's more fun, because now y'all got to travel and watch them play, right? You know what I mean? Talk about the commitment financially. I don't need numbers. Just saying like, yo, it's right. Like, it's a real commitment.
That commitment is expensive. It can be. But it's rewarding at the end because we've gotten everything and more out of what we were trying to get to, or where we were trying to get to. Ryan was offered, and he chose the school that he wanted to go to based on how he felt when he got to campus. It just happened to work out where it's close, and that's where he wanted to be. That's not something that we chose for him, but that financial thing, it's real.
It's real.
But the education that he's getting is even better because he's getting his education and doing what he likes to do or loves to do on a scholarship. So it works out. What my husband and I spent it doesn't equal out to what he's getting now. It just helped us to get to where we are today. So it's a grind.
So yeah. Who said that? Oh, it's Sarah. Sarah, what's up, Sarah? So look.
Shout out to Diana Williams.
Oh man, my boy Kobe.
Kobe came to the gym. Came to Clockwork with Cooper and Ryan 5:30 in the morning before they went to troop. Shout out to the guys.
Yeah, and look, and Kobe rocking that mustache now.
Mustache March.
Right. So Trina, man, I'm gonna say something, right? You know, I don't know if I've told you before, but man, I have known Trina forever. You know, both from Hurd County.
Okay.
Yeah. But let me say something, man. Salute. You know what I mean? That I followed Trina, you know, and Emory journey since day one, right? I salute her for being a single parent and just grinding. Like, listen. If that ever was an MVP for being a single parent, this lady right here, she deserves it. You feel me? Like pat on the back. Like, no lie, Trina, man. I've seen you stand in the gap for your son. You feel me? Like, I've seen this since day one and seen how you rock and roll. So like honestly, y'all, it can be done. You feel me? It can be done. And only thing you gotta do is just pin your ears back, right?
That's right.
And that what Trina did. I feel like you just pinned your ears back, man, and to make sure that your son, you know what I'm saying, can have a path.
Trina and I has had lunch together, and my hat goes off to you, and I commend you, and good job.
Yeah.
Good job, well done.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, you know what I'm saying? So having, you know what I'm saying, having a son and, you know, he got a sister who playing sports, how are you juggling the two?
We divide and conquer a lot. And, you know, to begin with, when Lily Kate was younger and she did cheerleading, our season pretty much ended in February with cheerleading, and then baseball picked up because he didn't play baseball then year round. We played soccer and we played football, and so and we played basketball. So until just a few years ago, it really actually didn't overlap. So it was kind of, you know, we'd all be doing cheerleading for a little bit, and then we'd have the time off and we'd do baseball, you know, the spring and summertime. And then the older you got, we played, you know, baseball year round towards the high school time. But it just divide and conquer. And, you know, this weekend Cooper has games. He has the Mobile series is where he's going to be this weekend, and my daughter has volleyball in Cartersville. And so we divide and conquer. You know, try to what I can watch online on, you know, what we do. And so it's going fast though. I wish that we had more time to watch him play for sure. It's going fast.
Right, man. I love that. So y'all, let me ask y'all about this, okay? You know what I mean? Talk about, you know what I'm saying, mentorship. Man, did anybody mentor y'all through this? Or do y'all do trial and error and figure this thing out? Like now, people get mentorship right now. I don't think they recognize that. They'll get some real life mentorship of what it would take, you know what I mean, in order for their child to go. Did y'all have that, or did y'all do trial and error?
So as for me, my village included Emory's mentors as well. Shout out to Chuck for, you know,
Chuck.
Sometimes mentally just picking Emory up when there were times that he was down. I remember what led to us doing training is kind of owning up to the fact that when you watch kids and you look at them and you watch your son and you say, how is something that he's missing? But you gotta own that, you gotta admit that, you gotta see that, and you have to. And so we did something about that. So I went up and I asked one of the guys that was involved in evaluating kids, and I just asked him, like, what is it that Emory's missing? And that was probably the most important conversation I probably had the entire time. He was open with me and told me exactly what Emory needed, what Emory was missing, which resulted in him getting training, and which has resulted in where he is today. So I appreciate that. But there was always somebody for something. If it was for the mental support, there was somebody for that. If it was well, Tinker chimed in. I've many phone calls to Tinker as well, just to ask questions about football. Kane, you just kind of trial and error at the same time, but also asking guys who played before. So just asking, like, what is it? What does it take? Like, what are we on the right track? Mentors that helped us with even picking schools, like that was stressful.
I bet.
So to kind of narrow that down, it took a lot of engaging with a lot of former athletes right now that are in NFL. It just took a lot of that type of support, and I think all of those supports that didn't have to take a step back and talk to a little high school kid like Emory about his next step. So.
So I'm gonna throw this out. I want all y'all to answer this one, right? Now, as a parent, right? You know what I'm saying? I mean, y'all are mothers. I know y'all want to be mama bears. Make sure your kids are right. You know what I'm saying? How do y'all protect them from the people? You know what I mean? Your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter. Because people talk, right? You know what I mean? So as a mom, how do y'all handle that?
Raise them to be gracious, raise them to, there's always going to be people that may not be happy for you, but you just got to do you, and you do what makes you happy, and remember to, make us proud. At the end of the day, you got to take care of you,
right,
and that you make good choices, and that you've just got to be a shining example of what we raised you to be.
So, you want to chime in on that one?
Yeah, I just say that, exactly what you just said, just kind of raising, because what I taught Emory was that the deeper you get into it, the more energy it's going to take from you, the more you have to keep going back and going back. Eventually, he started to decrease some of the social media involvement after he started seeing comments, especially, you receive threats from fan base, the people you never even met before, people that doesn't even really know you.
They only look at it as a sport. They don't look at it as this is somebody's child, this is his life. They just look at it as a sport. All they want to do is just win. They don't look at it as this is someone's child that you're talking about, and they don't take that into consideration when they're on social media.
And he's definitely helped me. Emory has helped me because I would see something and I'm like, okay, Emory, I'm about to say something, and he's like, Mom, I don't even care about, like, don't worry about what. And so we coach one another through that process until.
And it's hard to see someone after you. It's hard. You and so sometimes it is. You're right. It's hard to tell Mama to reel it back.
Hey, we hire people.
That's
to
right.
That's
Right.
Yeah, put them fingers out there.
Baseball is 80% mental, and it's hard to help your kid when they're down. So I thank all of his coaches for being able to step in and see where he's struggling and see where they're able to help him or what is it that he needs to work on. But it's
real.
It can become mentally
draining
if you let it. But sometimes you just got to scroll and just keep going and you just slap it off, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes not.
Right. Shouts out to Chuck. Shouts out to Emory. Emory said he loved
Emory's
it.
on there.
No. Shouts out to him. So Ronda, let me ask you this. So Ryan has been doing a whole lot of traveling with baseball. Where he go overseas too. He ain't been overseas free time, or he just been?
No, he went to Boston to play in the summer league.
Okay.
With Cape Cod. Yes.
Okay, so tell me about that. You know what I mean? For a mom to see their son, now I know you got to feel good deep down.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on now.
And I have a few friends that say I don't brag on them enough, or I don't say enough, but I think I do. But we're very excited. He travels and he's been playing every game since he got to Auburn.
Okay.
He's played every single game. He has also transitioned from second base to shortstop, which is his, I guess I want to say his natural or original position. He just wants to be on the field. He doesn't care where it is. But yeah, all the traveling, we've made all the games. I only missed one game last year, and that was to Mobile, and that's because it was on a Tuesday night. It was 4 hours there, 4 hours back. But I'm sure I could have gotten somebody to ride with me, but we just didn't go with that one. But our first road trip this year is going to be Missouri, and we leave out Friday next Friday.
Okay.
6
Going to
a.m.
Missouri.
flight.
Going to
It's gonna be
Missouri.
cold, but we'll be there.
So Kevin, let me ask you, we're talking about journeys, right? You know, everybody have a different journey. A kid go through a different journey. I know Coop right now, you know, he's at a JUCO. So talk about that journey. It's a different journey. Like, I played JUCO ball, so I know that, you know, but it's still ball. You gotta go someplace to get to somewhere else.
Right.
So talk about that journey.
Well, we spent a lot of his time, you know, of course, being that he was injured and wasn't fully back to probably where you know, we thought he would be until probably about 10th grade, I think, probably, you know, he was a 4-year Letterman act troop in baseball, but to really be a full, you know, back at 100%. So we were a little behind as far as the recruiting goes, and so we spent a lot in the summer doing some things, but then his senior year, he did a lot, and I will say, you know, from a child standpoint, he gave up a lot during his senior year. Football games on weekends, because we would go every weekend to a different place, you know, we would go, and so, and it was hard on him some of the time. I mean, he was like, Mom, I really want to, you know, this, you know, I'm like, we're almost there, we're getting close, and so, you know, it was kind of a give and take too for him. And so for us, I think number one, you know, Chattahoochee Valley is a great jumping start to the next level as far as 4-year colleges go. He's blessed, he's able to play as a freshman. You know, Ryan is an anomaly in that, you know, not a lot of kids go as a freshman and play every game. They just don't. I mean, Ryan's just a gifted athlete, and he's, you know, he's phenomenal. I can't, you know, he's just the best. We love Ryan.
Oh, y'all been hugging.
She knows. I don't miss. I go to those games too. But he just, you know, so for us, I feel like that he's able to learn a lot about, because it's so different. You know, they're still growing. The boys are still growing and changing into men. They go, you know, 4-year schools. Those kids are 22 sometimes. They're just, it's a huge age difference. You know, the maturity, the changes they go through. And so junior colleges provide you a lot of experience earlier than you might get at a big 4-year college. I will say, you know, it's a little different as far as, you know, he doesn't have some of the perks that he hears from his friend Ryan, you know, sometimes.
And that JUCO ball,
that's right. It's like, I feel like it's, you know, coming from a little movie, some of those movies we watched before and a long time ago.
I promise you, it's just JUCO is just like that.
Yeah.
But watch this though. I guarantee you, his closest friend gonna come from JUCO.
Oh, he loves it. He does. He does, and he loves it, and he loves his teammates. They're just great guys, and I think, you know, they're there because they love ball. They're, you know, because it's not about the outside of the school. You know, there's not much. They don't even have dorms there. They live in an apartment complex. It's actually on the edge of the campus. But you know, you got to cook all your meals every day, or go out and get food every day. There's not a dining hall. There's not a meal plan. There's a lot of things that, you know, you kind of sacrifice.
He's growing up fast.
He is. He's growing up fast. He said my homemade tacos were so good the other day.
Oh, I'm talking about Coop. I need some tacos on Tuesday, baby. Tacos on Tuesday.
So, you know, growing up quickly, and so it's, you know, it's been good for him though. It's been good to see, you know, at least I feel like then he's learned a lot about himself and his roommates and, you know, things like that too. So on top of the baseball. So it's provided a lot of good things for him.
I like that. So look, let me chime in on that. So that being said, everybody, like, you know what I'm saying? Again, how I said earlier, everybody's journey is different. You know what I mean? Don't hesitate and go the JUCO route. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, find your journey and just go with it. So I'm gonna throw a question out, you know what I mean, on all of y'all, bounce off of it. Balance. I'm talking about balance. You know what I'm saying? As a parent, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think now parents have a hard time knowing when to push the gas and when to push the brakes. You know what I'm saying? When do you let your kid be a kid, and when do you say, yo, man, we gotta go? It's a tough question though, right? Right.
That is
It's
a
a
tough
tough
question because I'll chime in first. A lot of people would ask, what else does Ryan do? We had a lot of friends that go on their way to the beach, and we can't go to the beach. We played baseball in the summer, so it's about what he wanted to do. I've never said, okay, get up and go work out. I never told him that. We supported him financially to come to you at 5:30 in the morning, but that's not something I had to go and say, hey Ryan, get up, let's go. He knew what he had to do. He knew where he wanted to be. He knew how he was gonna get there. So he knew what it was gonna take. But yeah.
So as for me and Emory, with a lot of trial and error, so with it being he and I for so many years in this process, and you know, Emory has told me several times, Mama, you gotta let me grow up. You gotta let me, I have to do this. But one important thing that he said to me and this might be helpful for someone else that has a kid that's in a sport, in any sport, or that's dealing with anything. He said to me, and he's learned this since he's been at Florida, he was going through something, how to adjust to being at the university, being away from home, going through the strenuous workouts and the day-to-day, and trying to balance school and trying to balance the need for the practice and things that he had to do. But I remember him having a moment, and I was talking to him, trying to figure out what he needed. And so it was when he said to me, I have to figure this out myself. And he said, I'll figure this out. And he had to figure that out. I saw him figure that out, and I realized then, this is him growing and maturing into the man that I heard in the beginning, where the development comes in. Him coming home, he realizes what position he's in. He's home for spring break. I think I've seen Emory twice since Friday.
Right.
But he's been in Atlanta, he's been training, he's been calling his coach, he's been trying to get sessions in and practice in. So now he's on his own, and I can just let go. I can sit back and watch him continue to strive to try to be the very best, and be prepared when he returns. So he's not relaxed, he's not hanging out, he's actually still training and doing what he does. So I'm just letting him go at this point.
Right. So the kid go to Division I, I think they're a pretty special kid to go to Division I, right? You know what I'm saying? When did y'all say, yo, I think we got something special here. Now it's time to really invest in my son or my daughter, because I think they can go somewhere, like really go somewhere. You know, when did that light come on?
Light come on. I can say we were 9th grade or 8th grade. Troop went to 9th grade. Troop went to UGA for a summer camp.
Okay.
And we were in Fort Myers, and we hadn't made it to UGA yet, and the coach was asking, is your shortstop here? And so when we got there, he was looking for, him, but just the fact that you're 9th grade and you get the opportunity to get an offer, and he had 5 offers. So we knew what we had done was well worth it.
Okay.
And so it was just kind of like, okay, this is what we've strived for, this is what we've been working for, now let's just turn it up a notch. And when you see that smile on his face and know that he's having fun, you can't help but to know this is good. This is good. And we've always told Ryan, you do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do.
Right.
So
Say it again. Say that again, Ronda. Give it to him again.
you do what you have to do so that you can do what you want to do.
Wow.
And that's what he's always done. And he is a student athlete. He's not just baseball, which is what a lot of people probably think, because that's all they see. But he is being held to those standards also, and he was the student, the class president when he was a senior in high school, and he has done well at Auburn also. He's maintaining our 3.0 or 3 point something, he says, and trying to add that something because he said he worked hard for it.
Yeah, and Cooper ended up he graduated from Troop with honors. He was on a full academic, scholarship, presidential scholarship in baseball. So they'll just, whatever he doesn't get from them, we'll pay the rest of it because his academics were so strong, and then he was on the dean's list last fall. So even though he's skipping his meals, he still had his grades. So, the goal, you got to do what you got to do. For sure. School is important.
So with academics, did y'all have like a because again, like now it's different. Now you got tutors. You had tutors back then, but I'm saying now you got tutors and you got people who help with SAT, and you got trainers, all that type stuff. Now, did y'all have people picked out to help with that? Like, yo, on Monday, get your tutor for this. On Thursday, you go to the training session. Was it that detailed?
For like academic wise?
Both. Like for high school. College is pretty much on the college, but for high school, did y'all have a real life system together?
Not particularly for us, as far as at home, like it was just fast moving for us. It was on the go. The support he got, that Emory got, was from school. And I mean, yes, from school and like the support, like there are a lot of times they would recognize something before I would recognize it. It would already be intervening, and then I would know that I would need to jump in at that particular time and in that particular moment.
Right.
And so,
Right. I mean, that. Go ahead.
I want to piggyback off of the question when you said, when did you know that it was
Real.
this was real?
Mhm.
Ryan was drafted out of high school to the Boston Red Sox. So at that point, you kind of know, okay, if we can do this as a senior in high school, then we can actually go to college, and now this is where you really turn it up. And
So
Yeah.
okay, now, back up for a minute now. Okay, so he was drafted out of high school,
he was
right?
drafted out of high school.
Okay, so normally, that's tempting for one.
Yes.
It's tempting when you're like, yo, we here now. Let's keep on. Let's go
Let's go.
play Major League, whatever. But what made y'all say, nah, we're not done yet?
That was Ryan's decision.
Really?
That was not well, of course it was a collective
I got you.
decision, but ultimately he said it was draft Monday, Tuesday, of course, and Wednesday being the last. Before he got his call on Tuesday, he said, Mom, please do not make me regret my decision. Let me sleep on it. Let me think about it. And if they call, no matter what I decide to do, just go with me, and it's going to be the best. Ultimately his decision. A lot of people think that the amount that he was offered, well, we don't discuss what it was, because some said, wow, I would have taken that.
Right.
But when you're not pressed at that time, you're able to go and do
More.
you're able to go and do more.
Right.
And I think in the long run, it's going to pay off in the end more than it would have had he come out of high school. But a lot of 18-year-olds would have just taken that and go, because that's more than I could have given him.
I got you.
It's more than if he goes and get a job that he would come out with. But discipline, his own decision,
He's committed.
it was
I like it.
commitment and not an adult, but a mature decision. And we let him decide, because it's his life.
It's his life.
Not his life, but his
It's his path, I guess. I can say path,
it's
baby.
his life. It's
Yeah,
his
you
life.
say that. Yeah, you say that. Yeah.
It is. But
It's
you
a hard
being on the
decision.
child,
It's a big
it's my
decision. You're right.
My life too.
You're right.
Yeah.
But going out, being drafted like that is probably a little harder than going to JUCO. Like
Right.
they have those.
Right, I got you. Yeah.
Single A and double A balls, no joke. It's rough going.
Mhm.
For sure, it's a hard road.
Man, y'all. So y'all listen, okay, I'm gonna ask this question. Do people contact y'all and ask y'all questions to this day? You know what I mean? I mean, do like, parents who got kids who playing sports, they'll ever call y'all, but like, hey, how should I handle this? How should we do that? How should we handle the recruiting process? Let's talk about that for a second. Do people call and ask y'all, how do we handle the recruiting process? Y'all get no phone calls.
We've had a lot of calls, or
Okay.
people ask when we were traveling back and forth to Atlanta, how do you do it? Why do you guys, how can you get up and go every day? Like, we have to go and get it. It's not gonna come to us. Ryan was seen before he made it to high school. You can't wait until they come to you. You've got to go and get it. And again, it's different things, different ways, different situations. Now they got social media that's more than it has ever been. But you do have parents that's asking, how did you make your decision on where you want to go? Don't go for the big names.
Okay.
When they come to see you, they're not going to come just because you are at XYZ. They're going to come and watch the person that you are, who you are. They're not going to come and watch just because they're at this big, university. And also kids need to understand they need to go where they can play, I guess, because a lot of us want to play in different positions, and I'm speaking in terms of baseball, but if you go where you know you can play, it'll be so much better, because a lot of times, and everybody don't get to play as a freshman like Ryan has.
Right.
That's very rare, but
Right.
he's been blessed to be in the position that he's in. So.
I love it, man. So listen, y'all, man, I thank everybody for tuning in. Ladies, I want y'all to leave the people some advice. You know what I mean? Start with you, Kelly. Give them something that they can take with them.
Man, think this is a hard job. Being a parent's a hard job, but giving your child the best opportunity and whatever it is that they have a passion for, and whatever you're able to do with them. I mean, in the end, we're tasked with the job of raising kids. They're ours. We gave, I gave birth to these kids.
Right.
I want to see them succeed, and I want to do whatever it is. And you miss a lot of other things. I missed a lot of time with my girlfriends, or a lot of party, like baby showers. And there was a time period when all we did was go out of town because we were with ball every weekend. And you do sacrifice things a lot, but in the end, my kids are my number one commitment, and they're my number one priority. And whatever I can do to help them get to where they want to go is worth it, because that's just my most important thing. Both of ours, my husband and I, and we just feel like that our goal and our, was to get our kids to the point where they could be, as far as college goes, to go without debt, to go without, and to have that opportunity. And so we've been very fortunate so far, and just, it's hard. It's a hard job, and it's not been easy. I don't want it to seem like any of us. I know that it's rough to go through the whole process and to make sure your kids are you always want to make sure they're where they need to be and are getting what they need. But there's nothing better than seeing your kid happy and doing what they love and enjoy.
I love it, man. Trina?
So what the message was about tonight, basically committing yourself, pouring into your children when you see something that they want to do, exposing them to, it's not just in football, it's not just in basketball, expose them to everything. And I mentioned earlier, Emory was doing skateboarding. I didn't know if he was gonna be, at one point he was ordering skateboards offline versus ordering footballs, so I didn't really know, but you just pour into them in whatever they're doing, and you support that every effort. You just, all of your energy. Right now, I don't even know what to do with my time right now, because I poured all of myself into him.
Right.
He's 5 hours away at Florida, and I'm here on the weekends trying to figure out during the off season what am I supposed to be doing. But the joy of watching them smile, the joy of just watching them compete, and the joy of when you see them get something out of they work so hard for, and you see them be rewarded by that. That's what it's about, and it's about the sacrifice. It's not necessarily, I want to say it's a sacrifice. I gave up a lot of things, and I don't have any regrets about anything that I have given up to this point. I got to do a quick shout out real quick to, and accept help. Accept when people are trying to offer things to you, and people are trying to support you. Shout out to Charlotte, who does not have to travel to football games with me, but would jump in the car with me just to help split the gas, or would jump in the car with me to go to Florida. And see, I'm going every weekend, so she doesn't necessarily have to go, but because she can split the room with me, she goes. And so it's that part of that village I mentioned again. So be okay with accepting people trying to help you.
Shout out to Charlotte, man. Shout out to Charlotte.
And my mom, though.
You better bring mama up, baby.
Yes, my mom's in the house. I appreciate you.
Mama.
It's not me ever.
She's retired. She's here with us in Georgia, and I'm loving every minute.
Right. So how about you, Ronda?
The advice I would give is sometimes you may have to give up what you want to do to spend time and be at your kids' events. Pour that time into them now, because it's their time, and they will remember that you were there. They'll remember. They know. Ryan knows when we're in the stands. He knows. They know. They look for you. They know.
Wow.
So give up some of your time, spend it on what they're doing, and invest in what they have going on, and it'll be worth it.
It'll be worth it, right? It'll be worth it. Yo, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in tonight. I hope these ladies bless y'all tonight, man. I hope they gave y'all some insight.
One shout
Shout
out
out
to Rob Dix.
Rob!
He has helped Ryan, and he has worked out with, Ryan has worked out with him, and we appreciate all he has done, and we appreciate that.
Rob's the man, man.
Yes.
Shout out to Rob LaGrange College, man.
Yes.
Shouts out to that one. Yeah, definitely, man. Again, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Hey, you ladies came with it, man. They came with it. I enjoyed it. So listen, hey, remember, if I said it, I said it. Can't say it, baby. Salute, baby.